Yen Tu Relic Site is a historical and scenic complex located in Quang Ninh Province, Vietnam. It is not only famous for its majestic natural beauty, but also the cradle of Truc Lam Yen Tu Zen, a unique Zen sect founded by King Tran Nhan Tong. Yen Tu has a large area, including many pagodas, hermitages, towers and beautiful natural landscapes. Yen Tu is where King Tran Nhan Tong practiced and founded Truc Lam Yen Tu Zen sect in the late 13th century. Truc Lam Yen Tu Zen sect is a Zen sect with strong Vietnamese identity, combining the quintessence of previous Zen sects and suitable for the culture and beliefs of the Vietnamese people. Yen Tu is an important Buddhist center of Vietnam. Major attractions include Dom Pagoda, Hoa Yen Pagoda, Giai Oan Pagoda, Truc Lam Yen Tu Zen Monastery and many other pagodas and towers. To begin your journey to explore Yen Tu, the electric car will take you from Ha Cu bus station to Khai Tam Gate. Here, you will find the arrival reception desk, which provides detailed information and directions about the relic site. Right next to it is the Yen Tu cable car ticket office, making it easy for you to buy tickets and start your journey up the mountain. Khai Tam Yen Tu Gate is the starting point for the journey to explore the Yen Tu relic and landscape. Bearing a strong cultural and spiritual mark, Khai Tam means to open the heart, open the mind, start the journey to enlightenment. And Khai Tam Gate means to enter, open the mind, start the journey to Buddha enlightenment. The gate is designed in the traditional Vietnamese three-door style, with three entrances, inspired by Hue Quang Tower, a remaining Tran dynasty architectural work on Yen Tu Mountain. The gate architecture with arches, thick walls, short roof covered with lotus wing tiles creates an ancient and solemn beauty. Along both sides of the path are rows of large ironwood pillars. The ceiling is made in the style of Dao Kong, a traditional architectural style of Vietnamese pagodas and Vietnamese villages. One Khai Tam Gate is the main, symbolic facade of Truc Lam Cultural Center, the first place visitors set foot when entering the Yen Tu relic site. From Khai Tam Gate, a long road runs across Tin Tam Lake, leading to the entrance to the legacy area, forming the Tam Dao axis connecting Khai Tam Gate with Truc Lam Palace. Khai Tam Gate strongly represents Vietnamese culture, from the architecture to the decorative details, where visitors can feel the sacred and pure space of Yen Tu. Through Khai Tam Gate is the Zen Mirror. The Zen Mirror is located in a central, solemn position as soon as visitors pass through Khai Tam Gate, and is another symbol of the Truc Lam Yen Tu Cultural Center. The water surface at the Zen Mirror is always calm, like the human mind in a state of stillness and purity. Only when the mind is still and quiet, wisdom appears. Only when wisdom appears, the mind is bright, and can be enlightened by Buddha. A calm mind is both the root and the result of Zen. Here, please take a few minutes to let go of all the joys and sorrows of the world. Let your mind calm down. Bring your mind to calmness, stability, and relaxation, like the flat surface of the mirror, without ripples. In addition to creating a Zen landscape, the Zen mirror also helps you feel a profound and familiar philosophy of the Truc Lam Tu Zen sect. Fan Quan Tu Kai. Enlightening yourself is the original duty. It cannot be achieved by anyone else. This is also where you can stop to take photos to commemorate a return to Truc Lam Zen Monastery, the Buddhist land of Vietnam. The next destination is La Han Pine Garden, in Ngoan Nguyet Lake, Minh Tam Square. La Han Pine Garden has 108 La Han pine trees, a type of tree that is compared to the heroic and noble spirit of a wise man. This is also a type of tree with a lot of spiritual energy, dispelling bad luck, bringing luck, peace, prosperity, glory, and wealth to everyone. Ngoan Nguyet Lake is the place where water gathers in Giai Oan Valley. In addition to creating landscape and ecological environment, the lake is a place for exchange, performing arts, and serving visitors to Yen Tu. The lake and the stone bridge are both named Ngoan Nguyet, meaning moon watching, and moon appreciation. This place also evokes memories of the old Ngoan Nguyet Bridge in Thang Long Citadel during the Tran dynasty in the 13th century. Minh Tam Square is an important cultural space, located on the Tam Dao axis, connecting Khai Tam Gate and Truc Lam Palace, in the Yen Tu relic complex. This place is not only a tourist destination, but also a spiritual space, bearing the mark of traditional Vietnamese architecture, with the meaning of Minh Tam, bright mind. Wisdom appears. This square is where visitors can find tranquility, contemplation, and seek peace of mind. Designed in harmony with the surrounding natural landscape, Minh Tam Square creates a large, airy open space, with traditional Vietnamese architecture, rows of green trees and fresh flower gardens. This is also the place where cultural and spiritual activities take place, such as Buddhist ceremonies, meditation courses, bringing visitors memorable experiences. Truc Lam Tu Palace is a massive Buddhist architectural work, located in the Yen Tu relic complex, Uong Bi City, Quang Ninh Province. This is an important spiritual destination, demonstrating the development and stature of the Truc Lam Tu Zen sect. Designed by world-famous architect Bill Bensley, Truc Lam Palace is inspired by traditional Vietnamese architecture, especially the architecture of the Ancestor Tower on Yen Tu, creating a space that is both solemn and close to the indigenous culture. The work is large in scale, with a spacious construction area, capable of accommodating from 5,000 to 7,000 people. Notably, in the Truc Lam Palace grounds, there is a large stone stele engraved with an article by General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trong. The content of the article shows the deep concern of the party and state for preserving and promoting the cultural and historical values of Yen Tu, while affirming the important role of the Truc Lam Tu Zen sect in building and developing the country. This stone stele is not only a cultural and historical highlight, but also a symbol of the connection between religion and life, between the past and the present. When entering inside, visitors will feel the serenity, solemnity, and harmony between traditional architecture and modern details. The worship area is solemnly designed, with Buddha statues and patriarchs harmoniously arranged, creating a sacred space. Gold-plated lacquered wood is used in the interior details, demonstrating sophistication and high artistic value. The lighting system is delicately designed, creating a cozy, solemn space, while enhancing the beauty of the architecture and decorative details. The decorative details in Truc Lam Palace are meticulously and delicately crafted, demonstrating the talent of Vietnamese artisans. The space inside Truc Lam Palace is designed in harmony with the natural landscape outside, creating a sense of closeness and relaxation for visitors. Giai Oan Pagoda is a pagoda located in the Yen Tu Scenic Relic Complex in Uong Bi City, Quang Ninh Province, Vietnam. This pagoda is associated with a touching story about the compassion of King Tran Nhan Tong. History and legend. According to legend, when King Tran Nhan Tong went to Yen Tu Mountain to practice asceticism, many concubines came here because they missed the king. However, they did not dare to disturb the king's practice, so they drowned themselves in a nearby stream to express their loyalty. When King Tran Nhan Tong heard the story, he was extremely sorry and set up an altar to absolve the unfortunate concubines. Since then, this stream has been called Giai Oan Stream, and the pagoda was built to commemorate the concubines. Architecture and landscape. Giai Oan Pagoda has an ancient architecture, bearing the mark of the Tran dynasty. In the pagoda, there are many Buddha statues and precious worship objects. Surrounding the pagoda is a beautiful natural landscape, with the Giai Oan stream flowing. Spiritual significance. Giai Oan Pagoda is an important spiritual site of Yen Tu, attracting a large number of tourists and Buddhists to visit and worship. The pagoda is a symbol of compassion, charity and liberation from injustice. This is also a place for visitors to remember and express their respect for the deceased. Tourism activities. Giai Oan Pagoda is a destination not to be missed in the journey to explore Yen Tu. Visitors can visit the pagoda, worship the Buddha statue, admire the natural scenery and learn about the history and culture of Yen Tu. On festival occasions, Giai Oan Pagoda is often crowded with tourists to visit and worship. Giai Oan Pagoda is a destination with deep historical, cultural and spiritual values. This place is not only an ideal destination for those who want to learn about Buddhism, but also a place for visitors to find peace of mind. The Yen 2 cable car system has two main routes, helping visitors move conveniently and quickly to the attractions on the mountain. Route 1, starting from Giai Oan Station, taking visitors to Hoa Yen Station. This route helps visitors visit Hoa Yen Pagoda, one of the most important pagodas of Yen 2. Route 2, starting from Mot Mai Station, taking visitors to An Khai Shrine Station. This route helps visitors visit An Khai Shrine statue and attractions near the mountain top. Yen 2 is 1.068 meters above sea level. To conquer Yen 2 mountain, visitors will spend about 4 to 5 hours traveling with more than 6.000 steps from the bottom to the top of the mountain. The cable car system is a means of transport to help visitors reach the system of pagodas, hermitages, and towers of Yen 2 relic. By cable car, the journey to the sacred peak of Dong Pagoda only takes about 2 hours, half the time compared to the road. On the cable car, visitors can enjoy the majestic beauty of Yen 2 National Forest's nature changing through the seasons of the year. History of the Yen 2 cable car system. The Yen 2 cable car system was officially started and completed in 2001. Repaired and upgraded with an additional cable car line from Mot Mai Pagoda to the Buddha statue area in 2008. The total length of the cable car line is 2.079 meters including 2 stages. The system includes 4 modern cable car systems manufactured by Poma, France, meeting European aviation safety standards. On 2 routes, Hoang Long cable car line includes 2 systems taking passengers up and down from the foot of the mountain to the middle of Yen 2 mountain, height from 100 meters to about 500 meters. The Bach Long cable car line consists of 2 systems that take passengers up and down from the mountainside to near the top of Yen 2 mountain, from about 500 meters to about 900 meters high, creating opportunities for visitors to fully enjoy the majestic landscape of Yen 2 mountains and forests from different heights with the experience of inspiring green space accompanied by efficiency, convenience and absolute safety. The cable car system operates from early morning to late afternoon, 365 days a year. When operating, the cable car systems resemble dragons flying up and down the mountain. So both lines are named Long, meaning dragon. The lower cable line is called Hoang Long, Golden Dragon, connected to the Golden Waterfall to the west of Hoa Yen Pagoda, and the upper cable line is called Bach Long, White Dragon, connected to the Silver Waterfall to the east of Hoa Yen Pagoda. Route 1, Hoang Long cable car, Giai Oan Pagoda area to the foot of Ta Tower. The Hoang Long cable car system is 1,200 meters long and equipped with 35 glass-bottomed cabins. The cable car starts from the foot of Yen 2 mountain, moving at a maximum speed of 6 meters per second at an altitude of less than 700 meters. The Hoang Long route takes visitors into a glass-bottomed cabin with a 360-degree view, gliding over the cool forest to the halfway point of the mountain where Hue Quang Kim Thap, Ta Tower, is located, the historical and spiritual heart of the mountain. From here, visitors can explore the majestic nature with rows of precious heritage trees, beautiful waterfalls, ancient relics, especially visiting the nearly 1,000-year-old Hoa Yen Ancient Pagoda before continuing the journey to the top of the mountain by cable car route 2 and climbing. Line 2, Bach Long cable car, east of Hoa Yen Pagoda to the statue of King Tran Nhan Tong. The length of the Bach-long cable car is 879 meters. Equipped with 38 cabins. Starting from the east of Mot Mai Pagoda to near the Kai Shrine statue. The maximum speed is 5 meters per second, at an altitude of 700 meters. Cable car line 2 takes visitors from the east of Hoa Yen Pagoda to near the statue of King Tran Nhan Tong, where visitors seem to step into a new atmosphere and enjoy the beautiful scenery of the mountains and misty clouds from the cable car cabin. At this point, visitors begin to conquer the final climb for more than half an hour to reach Dom Pagoda at the highest peak, the symbolic place of the sacred Yen Tu mountain. Hue Quang Kim Thap, also known as Tu Thap, is an ancient and sacred Buddhist architectural work. This is where the relics of King Tran Nhan Tong, the wise king who founded the Truc Lam Tu Zen sect, are kept. The tower was built in 1309, under the reign of King Tran Nhan Tong, after King Tran Nhan Tong entered Nirvana. After many renovations and repairs through the dynasties, the tower still retains its original architecture and historical value. The tower has a unique architecture, built of stone, with a hexagonal base, carved with water wave patterns typical of the Tran dynasty's artistic style. The tower is 6 stories high, showing majesty and solemnity. Hue Quang Kim Thap is a symbol of the Truc Lam Tu Zen sect, a place to worship and commemorate King Tran Nhan Tong. The tower is an important spiritual destination, attracting a large number of tourists and Buddhists to worship. Hue Quang Kim Thap is a valuable cultural heritage, demonstrating the development of Buddhism and Vietnamese architectural art. Hue Quang Tower Garden is located at an altitude of 500 meters above sea level, where the remains of monks who practiced at Yen Tu are kept. The entire tower garden currently preserves 97 tomb towers. Hue Quang Kim Thap is not only a beautiful architectural work but also an important historical and cultural relic, contributing to enriching the heritage of Yen Tu relic site. Hoa Yen Pagoda, also known as Chua Ca, is one of the most important pagodas in the Yen Tu relic complex. This is the place associated with the formation and development of the Truc Lam Yen Tu Zen sect. Founded by King Tran Nhan Tong, the pagoda was built during the Lai dynasty, originally named Phu Van. During the Tran dynasty, the pagoda became the practice center of King Tran Nhan Tong and his disciples, the birthplace of the Truc Lam Zen sect. When King La Than Tong visited the landscape, he saw the beautiful flowers and changed the name to Hoa Yen Pagoda. Hoa Yen Pagoda is located at an altitude of about 535 meters above sea level, creating a majestic natural landscape. The pagoda's architecture is imbued with traditional style, in harmony with the surrounding landscape. In the pagoda grounds, there are many ancient trees hundreds of years old, creating an ancient and solemn look. Hoa Yen Pagoda is a place to preserve many important historical and cultural relics associated with the Truc Lam Zen sect. This is an important spiritual destination, attracting a large number of tourists and Buddhists to worship. Hoa Yen Pagoda is not only a beautiful architectural work but also a valuable cultural heritage, demonstrating the development of Buddhism and Vietnamese culture, an indispensable part of the Yen Tu spiritual cultural architectural complex. One Roof Pagoda is a unique pagoda located in the Yen Tu relic complex. This pagoda is famous for its special architecture, associated with the history of the Buddhist monk Tran Nhan Tong. One Roof Pagoda has a semi-roofed architecture, half hidden deep in the mountain cave, the other half exposed outside, creating a unique beauty, blending nature and man-made structures. This pagoda is also called Bo Da, Ban Thien, Ban Mai. One Roof Pagoda is associated with the period when the Buddhist monk Tran Nhan Tong practiced at Yen Tu. Legend has it that this was the place where the Buddhist monk often came to read books, compose sutras, demonstrating the spirit of harmony between religion and life, between people and nature of the Truc Lam Yen Tu Zen sect. One Roof Pagoda is nestled on the mountainside, in a high position in the middle of the sky, creating a majestic and peaceful scene for the pagoda. One Roof Pagoda is an important historical and cultural relic, contributing to enriching the heritage of Yen Tu relic site, along with the unique architecture leaning against the cliff in the middle of the sky, in a beautiful position, making One Roof Pagoda contribute to a complete pagoda and tower complex. Associated with the Buddhist ideology of Dai Viet, the origin of Truc Lam Zen sect at Yen Tu Lin Sun. In particular, in the heart of the pagoda there is a small well, which never dries up all year round, with clear water, considered the sacred well of the pagoda. Route 2, starting from MOT Mai Station, taking visitors to An Khai Shrine Station. This route helps visitors visit An Khai Shrine statue and other attractions near the mountaintop. Bach Long Cable Car, east of Hoa Yen Pagoda to the statue of King Tran Nhan Tong. The length of the Bach Long Cable Car route is 879 meters. Equipped with 38 cabins, starting from the east of Mot Mai Pagoda to near the An Khai Shrine statue. The maximum speed is 5 meters per second, at an altitude of 700 meters. Cable Car Route 2 takes visitors from the east of Hoa Yen Pagoda to near the statue of King Tran Nhan Tong, where visitors seem to step into a new atmosphere and enjoy the beautiful scenery of the mountains and misty clouds from the cable car cabin. At this point, visitors begin to conquer the final climb for more than half an hour to Dong Pagoda at the highest peak, a symbolic place of the sacred Yen Tu mountain. The statue of King Tran Nhan Tong at Yen Tu is not only a simple sculpture, but also a profound cultural, historical and spiritual symbol. Located in the An Khai Shrine area on Yen Tu Mountain, in Uong Bi City, Quang Ninh Province, this statue stands out for its massive scale and high artistic value. The statue is cast from a solid block of bronze, 12.6 meters high and weighing 138 tons. placed on a 3-meter-high bronze lotus pedestal. The majesty of the statue is not only reflected in its size, but also in the difficult and dedicated crafting process of the artisans. The casting of the statue was done right at the construction site on rugged rocky terrain, requiring high techniques and meticulousness in every detail. The historical and cultural significance of the statue of King Tran Nhan Tong is immense. The statue is a symbol of respect for the wise king who founded the Truc Lam Zen sect, a Zen sect with strong Vietnamese identity. This work is a tribute to his great contributions to Buddhism and the Vietnamese people, demonstrating the spirit of entering the world, integrating religion and life. In terms of artistic value, the statue was crafted by skilled artisans, imbued with traditional artistic values. Every line on the statue is meticulously carved, demonstrating the talent and dedication of the artist. The statue of King Tran Nhan Tong was inaugurated and installed on December 3, 2013, after about 8 years of preparation and construction. This event marked an important step forward in preserving and promoting the cultural heritage value of Yen Tu. Today, the statue of King Tran Nhan Tong is one of the attractions that attracts many tourists when coming to Yen Tu. Visitors not only come to admire the beauty of the statue, but also to learn about the history, culture and spirituality of this land. Dong Yen Tu Pagoda is a pagoda located on the top of Yen Tu Mountain, in Uong Bi City, Quang Ninh Province. This is one of the most famous spiritual places in Vietnam, attracting a large number of domestic and foreign tourists to visit and worship. Below is some information about Dong Yen Tu Pagoda. History. Dong Pagoda was built during the La Dynasty, then restored and rebuilt many times. In 2007, the pagoda was completely rebuilt with pure copper. Dong Pagoda is associated with the history of the practice of Buddha King Tran Nhan Tong, the founder of the Truc Lam Tu Zen sect. Architecture. Dong Pagoda has a unique architecture, made entirely of pure copper, with a total weight of about 70 tons. The pagoda is located at an altitude of 1.068 meters above sea level, on the top of Yen Tu Mountain, creating a majestic and sacred scene. The pagoda has another name, Theme Truc 2, spiritual significance. Dong Pagoda is a symbol of purity, wisdom and respect for Buddhism. This place is considered a sacred place where visitors can pray for peace, luck and happiness. Every year, during the Yen Tu festival season, Dong Pagoda welcomes tens of thousands of visitors to visit and worship. More information. To get to Dong Pagoda, visitors can walk or use the cable car system. The road to Dong Pagoda is quite steep and has many steps, so visitors need to be in good health. When visiting Dong Pagoda, visitors need to dress politely, discreetly and maintain order. Dong Yen Tu Pagoda is a spiritual tourist destination not to be missed when coming to Quang Ninh. This place not only brings visitors profound spiritual experiences but also an opportunity to explore the majestic beauty of nature. Nuong Village is a unique cultural destination, located in the Yen Tu Relic Complex, in Uong Bi City, Quang Ninh Province. This place not only has the beauty of a traditional northern village but is also associated with profound historical and spiritual stories. Nuong Village is located at the foot of Yen Tu Mountain, winding along Giai Oan Stream, creating a poetic and peaceful natural landscape. The village's architecture bears the mark of a northern village, with traditional houses, lotus ponds, wells. Nuong Village is associated with the story of the concubines who followed King Tran Nhan Tong to the mountain to practice. This place preserves the traditional cultural features of the Vietnamese people, from customs to local cuisine. Visitors to Nuong Village can visit ancient houses, learn about local history and culture, participate in experiential activities such as pottery making, weaving, enjoying traditional cuisine, enjoying the peaceful space, immersing themselves in beautiful nature. Yen Tu Nuong Village is an ideal destination for those who want to learn about culture, history and enjoy the peaceful space of the Vietnamese countryside.